afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Out on the Ranch with Dr. Lee. Today's video was going to be a really lighthearted, let's go out and have some fun kind of video. I bought some new game cameras. I was going to go set them up, adding them to the game cameras that are already out there just to double the amount of images that we were getting in down along the creek and also out through the ranch. And also was going to take all that deer corn right there and go load up all the deer feeders that are near these cameras so that we get a bunch of game coming in and really get us some good pictures. But all that has changed in a heartbeat. One of my best friends, Tom, my buddy Tom, who lives on a ranch on the other side of town, called me, and he had a picture of a dead sheep, and he's lost 8 Barbados sheep in the last few weeks. And he was asking me if I could tell what type of animal had killed this. These deaths were happening in the middle of the night. And I'm going to show you a picture of it right now, and then I'll tell you, then I'll give you my diagnosis on who did it after you get to view the picture. For those of you who don't like to see things like this, you need to skip forward to this mark right here. Okay, so Tom has had 8 of these Barbados sheep killed in the last few weeks. As you can tell by that picture, the rumen, which is the fermentation vat of the abdomen, as well as some of the bowels, were left there at the site. The liver, the heart, and the lungs were gone. Dog packs that come through commonly just kill for sport if they're domesticated dogs and they're just banding together and running wild at night unchecked. Those dogs, they had a big bowl of Purina earlier in the day. They're not killing for food, so they will just usually take the throat out of an animal and leave it dying there, and they'll go on to the next one or eat the back end out of an animal. In this case, this animal, whatever did this, took the heart, took the lungs, took the liver, left the rumen, the fermentation vat that's in the abdomen, left all the bowels. And usually if it's hungry dogs or dog types like coyotes, they will rip an animal open. They'll go for the bowels first because they're omnivores. They like both forages and meats, and they will eat both. They will go for the bowels. They'll eat the bowels, they'll eat the rest of the stuff too, and usually leave a big mess. What happened here is a pure carnivore came after this animal and tore it up. And this has been consistent on all of these animals. And what you see here is the heart's gone, the lungs are gone, and the liver's gone. That's a pure carnivore. Most likely a cat, and a pretty darn big cat too. We're going to go ahead and take these cameras out to Tom's and see what's going on and set them up. And I'll take you along for the ride, and we'll see if we can help Tom identify what's going on with his problem. So come along for the ride. I can't say this is going to be a fun one, but it'll be an important one. And I also thought you might like to see what's going on. These are the cameras. I bought 3 that are exactly alike, and these are made by Moultrie. I use Moultrie and Stealth Cams, and I had the best luck with them. But they run on 8 AA batteries, and the first time I bought one of these I thought, man, I wonder how many of those I'm going to be buying. But honestly, they last a long time. An SD card goes in right there, just a regular old SD like this. These are 16 gigabyte cards. This thing will take up to a 32 gigabyte card, and you set it up over here. It's got a little guide screen over here, and right there, it's just telling me that there's no card in the camera right now. So you put a card in there, and it gives you prompts so that you can log in the date, the time, information such as that, which camera this is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, whatever. And also, a really neat thing about these is they're programmable, but very sensitive, very good quality equipment. So I've got 3 of these. I'm going to take them over to Tom's. We'll set them up and we will get going. A little editor's note. I just got all the cameras ready to go and packed up, and I just called Tom, and he said that early this morning he went out to check the sheep, and about 5 o'clock this morning, and he said he looked out there. They were all out in the pen up against the building where they usually sleep every night. He said they all had their eyes closed, their heads were up, you know, like how they sleep. and really beautiful animals. And he said he shined the light around, didn't see anything, and he walked down to the end of that pasture, and he shined a light out into the next pasture, and there were two sets of eyes staring back at him, and he got closer to them, and he said one was obviously a great big mountain lion and the other one was a smaller one. And he said the animal turned sideways to him and was walking, and he said he got a really good view of the silhouette. He said it is a big cat. So this is going to be kind of interesting. They're pretty rare around here. If this was a big cat with a smaller one, like what he said, more than likely it's a mama teaching the baby how to hunt at Tom's expense. So, and one thing I probably ought to tell you as well is these animals to Tom they're not just farm animals. The majority of them, I would bet all of them, have names, and they are his babies. So he's pretty upset. So if you see me kind of soft pedaling around him, you'll know why. I'm not going to ask him, any gory details that aren't absolutely necessary. Anyway, let's go over Tom, see what's going on. Yeah, we are on Tom's place now, and you can see those forests back over there provide a lot of cover for cats. Tom has nice roads, a beautiful place. There's the crew, what's left of them.
Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming out and taking a look at this.
Yeah, well,
This is a big deal to me.
Man, I know. I know it.
Uh,
Well, everybody, this is my best friend Tom here, and I already gave you kind of a lead in on what's going on, and I'm sure I got the story wrong as I usually do. So Tom's going to kind of refresh all of us on what's going on and what over the last few weeks or something like that.
Yeah, 4 or 5 weeks, and it wasn't that I keep real good track of the numbers of my flock, but all of a sudden it dawned on me that it didn't seem like I had as many as I used to have, and so I started keeping count, and sure enough I was missing some animals and I couldn't find any carcasses. And then about 2 weeks ago I found the first one down in the pasture, and it was a big kill. It was not dogs. It was obviously not dogs. And it was something that had some teeth to it, because it just gutted out the whole animal.
Yeah,
and
now dogs will usually, if they've eaten earlier in the day at somebody's house and they're just running and packing, domestic dogs, they'll usually just rip the throat out, right? And just sport killing.
Right, and they'll tear up parts of the animal and leave it,
Yeah,
and then you got to finish it off in the morning.
And you've seen that before.
Oh yeah, lots. We've seen that a lot. Sheep herders get to see all kinds of gruesome stuff,
Yeah.
But the dog, this was not a dog kill. This is a ferocious animal,
Yeah.
And it was large enough that it was able to take a 30, 40, 50 pound ewe off, because I only found total of 4 now out of 8.
And it had to take it over the fence.
Yes.
It didn't go through, it did not go under, it took it over the fence.
Which told me that it's probably a big cat, because
exactly.
They go up the tree with it and then jump the fence from the tree.
Right.
If they had a way of doing that, and they do.
Yeah, plus, as I've already explained, the organs taken were the heart, the lungs, and the liver.
Right.
Not the guts, like dogs or
all
coyotes
the intestinal
would.
stuff was still there. In fact, it had been cleanly removed from the animal.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing was, all the entrails were out, and the organs were what was left. I mean, that they could have got. And they literally took the sternum and halfway back the rib cage out of the animal.
Oh gosh.
And there was no sign of that.
Yeah. That's a big, powerful jaw that can do that.
Probably to get the marrow out of the sternum. I don't know, something like that.
Probably right. Okay. Point out. Let's see if we can see it in this camera. I might have to point the camera toward it. Point out what happened last night, Tom.
Last night, I came out of the house, which is up this way, at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I brought my shotgun with me, and a flashlight, a powerful flashlight, and I flashed down here. My sheep were all laying in this area right here. This is where they usually bed, right here. And then when I panned the flashlight across, when I got back behind that cedar tree that has a stand in it right back there,
Yeah.
right on the ground behind that, I saw two sets of eyes looking at me, big eyes.
Okay, and that's how far is that? 75
from
yards?
where I was standing, maybe 50 yards,
Okay. All right.
35 to 50 yards, something like that.
Right.
And they didn't move. They looked at me and they'd go up and down and kind of looking at me, trying to figure out what I was.
Yeah.
But they didn't run from me. So I walked down from the house towards them with my shotgun with the light on them, and I followed the eyes the whole way, and they'd go up and down, and one set of eyes kind of drifted off to one side, so I couldn't keep them in the flashlight beam, but I stayed on the one. And as I got to about 25 yards from where those eyes were, it turned sideways and started to walk away from me. Then I could see it was a mountain lion.
Wow. Wow.
And,
big cat.
It was very clear.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
There's nothing else that looks like that around here. You know?
Exactly. Exactly.
My neighbor's cats have gained a lot of weight, but not that kind of weight.
Yeah.
It's probably from the top of the head to the base of the tail was probably 3 feet.
Holy cow.
And then back from there, the tail I couldn't see real well, but
Yeah.
I knew at that point I had to do something, and so I had to put the light down because I didn't have it taped to my gun stock or my gun barrel.
Right.
And so I put the light down as quickly as I could and took a shot at where I thought,
Yeah.
just to scare him if nothing else.
Sure. Sure.
I didn't think that with a 12-gauge shotgun with birdshot in it, I was going to
No,
kill
you're not gonna
mountain
kill
lion,
him.
but I was at least going to have to try and scare him
Well,
off.
at least they left your flock away overnight.
We
for-
kept the sheep
everybody
intact, the numbers intact for one night.
Yeah, and you said there's a place over here where you can see where they drug one of them
Yes.
off.
Here, if you move to your right just a little bit,
All right.
and then I'll walk the path with it. Now, keep going just a little bit more. Okay, right about here is where that was killed.
Uh huh.
Then I'll walk down here, and you can see this wiggly drag mark out
I
that way.
sure do. I don't know how well it'll show up on the
Uh-huh. But when the
screen here.
when the dew was on the ground yesterday morning, it was very clear where it all went. And you could start
Yep.
picking it up right here, and as it dragged it, they started removing the entrails as they went along. And right about here, they left all the intestines
Yep.
right here, and then you can see
Oh yeah.
clearly here,
Yep.
or they started dragging it back and forth.
Wow.
This isn't a bobcat.
No.
It was
No.
about a 40-pound ewe, and it dragged it to this spot, and you can see right here some of the rumen.
Yep.
was
Some of the
left
rumen
as they
contents.
Took
Yep.
out the stomachs
Yep.
right here, and then right here was the animal, and you can see they took out all the rumen right in here.
Yep. You can see all the contents there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called, rumen?
Rumen content. Yeah,
Rumen
that's
content.
rumen's a fermentation vat in the abdomen of sheep and goats and
Uh-huh.
cows.
And then right here was the carcass. Now I didn't want to leave it here because I don't want to draw buzzards into my pasture.
Right. Right.
So I picked it up last night. But from here, then they went this way with what they took, which was basically everything in the chest cavity and just below it.
Yep.
And they didn't drag it, they carried it. And I pulled this wire back up, but they had literally laid down this fence.
Oh
now
wow. Yeah.
and carried whatever they were carrying over this fence. And this wire wasn't here. I used that to wire it up.
Yeah.
But
So they pushed all this down, and
This was
you've
all
straightened
down,
it
yeah,
up since. Wow.
down here's a skull from one about a week ago.
Oh gosh.
There was another one up at the other end of this fence. Now here you can see parts of the
Oh yeah.
sheath that was left from last time.
Good grief.
The skull was back there and just
Yeah.
bones scattered around. Now most of this, like the night before last.
Oh yeah. There's bones everywhere here. If you look.
Yeah, yeah.
Goodness gracious, Tom.
But
Well, that just makes me sick. I have one question. Did this sheep have a name?
this one did not.
Well, good. I feel
But the
I feel
problem
better
is we're
about
getting down to only the sheep with names.
it. Yep. Yep. The
So-
family.
So if I sell off the rest of my sheep to get this problem under control, the only ones I've got left are family,
Yep. Yep.
and that would
Can't
make
do
me
that.
sick, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the family ones are ones that I bottle raised
Yeah.
for one reason or another.
Yeah. Well, darn it.
Poor parent,
well, we'll-
mostly poor parenting practices.
I wouldn't say that. Well, we'll get these cameras up and see what
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
see what we can find tonight.
thank you.
In the next
Yeah.
few nights.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the trail where Tom saw the cats right here. Going up that way. So we're putting the camera right there. And we don't know if they came from that way or if they were headed that way. So we're going to put another camera right here, shooting back down the trail that way. Kind of catch them in a crisscross, hopefully. Tom's hooking up our last game camera. And we have a strong hunch the cats may have come from this area back over here. So we will see. We're going to let these sit out here for 3 days, and then we'll come check the cards and see what we got. Well, hopefully we can figure out what's out there and know what to do about it.
Yeah, we'll have to do something because otherwise we'll have to turn this place into the Bernie Municipal Golf Course, I guess, or something, you know.
Yep. Yeah. Watch out for the lions.
Yeah, right. They don't chase balls, do they?
Maybe they
On
do.
putting green?
Or, yeah, they're a good caddy anyway.
Wouldn't that be a great video?
Caddy, get it?
I got it.
All right, Tom.
Take care, Lee.
See you, buddy.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks again.
You're welcome. Well, folks, that's about it for today from Out on the Ranch with Dr. Lee. I sure do feel sorry for Tom. He's pretty upset. He's pretty hurt, and I totally understand that. You know, in my business that I've been in my entire life, I've seen a lot of grieving from animal death, and it doesn't have to be just your dog or your cat. To a lot of people, like Tom, those little sheep, they're his little buddies, and he loves them dearly. So you got to understand where Tom is at this point in time too. But anyway, this is Saturday night, big exciting Saturday night on the ranch, and we will be checking back with Tom on Tuesday. I will head out there on Tuesday, and I'll take you with me if you want to go. Anyway, you guys, thanks a lot. Thanks for dropping by and saying hi. I appreciate all your wonderful comments. And oh, by the way, didn't mean to tell you, Uncle Floyd is doing very, very well. Thanks for all your kind comments and concerns you leave for him. So you guys take care. I'll see you in a few days. Until then, always remember I love you. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye now. So what you doing there, Al?
Neutering a dog, Dad.
All right. Who's gonna learn you?
That's a mistake.